Hello，今日咧我就有一個朋友咁就係嚟自俄羅斯嘅，咁佢之前咧就係喺 Hamburg University 嗰度就讀過書嘅，咁所以咧我今日咧就想同佢做一個 interview。咁 Hello Zhenya，can I call you Zhenya or better your full name?
Zhenya is fine.
Zhenya. Okay. So because we've met in Hamburg, and that time you were studying in Hamburg University, and in the subject is called the Tibetan studies, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. So here I have some questions to probably our audience would like to know more about your study and how did you get into this study? For example, what interested you the most in this study so that you want to further study in these subjects? Why you think like Tibetan study is so interesting that you want to study this one? Is there any reason?
So this is my second education in Tibetan, and I already had a BA degree before my master degree, of course, in Tibetan language, and I used to live in Kathmandu in Nepal.
Yeah.
And I really liked it. I am very much interested in Tibetan philosophy, which is basically Buddhist philosophy. And I went to Nepal, to Kathmandu, to study Tibetan language in order to be able to read the philosophical texts myself in Tibetan. And then in Germany, I continued my studies and I enrolled to do the MA program.
Oh, so as you said, so you met someone and someone just introduced you the study in Germany, and you found like Hamburg University got this course. That's why you went to Hamburg University to do this course specifically.
Yes, exactly. A friend of mine told me that there is a program in Hamburg and about Professor Dorji Wangchuk, who himself comes from the Himalayan region. And of course, he speaks Tibetan and reads Tibetan very well. And he is also an academic. So he is a professor and he teaches in academical way. Particularly, he teaches philological approach to reading Tibetan ancient texts. And I have heard about this program and I got interested exactly.
Oh, it sounds very interesting as well. Like, so the second question I would like to ask is, so what should students prepare, or any criteria or the qualifications that in order to enroll into your study? Like, what did you prepare before?
So first of all, the program is in English, so you don't have to know German, and moreover, basically you have to speak and write English. And of course, you have to be able to read Tibetan language already, because this is, again, master program, and you have to have a bachelor program in Tibetan language before, and you have to be able to read Tibetan sentences quite well. Well, of course, there is also master prep, so MA prep, if you have BA degree, but in some other sphere, let's say in English literature, so nothing to do with the Tibetan, but you still can read Tibetan because you learn it yourself. Then you can do MA prep for 1 year, and then you can enroll to the full master program. And otherwise, you don't need any other things, because this is very special way subject to study, and there are not many people who want to do it. The competition is not high, and if you are prepared to the program, you can enroll, and I think you will be accepted.
Okay, so in this MA program, you were just studying the language or any other modules or subjects aside, like?
All right. Mostly we read actual Tibetan texts, so at different subjects and different classes, we read different texts in Tibetan with a discussion of them, of course, because this is kind of a philological approach implies that you study culture or religion, but you study culture or religion by reading texts. And so you read the text and you also discuss the content of this text, which is the most important, of course, is to be able to understand what it speaks about, and also what can be called perhaps diachronical dimension of ideas. So you learn when different ideas originated, when they appeared in the texts and how they changed with time when we read later texts. What we find about these ideas that for instance, appeared in the 5th or 6th century, and how these ideas changed in the texts in 11th or 12th century. So you study ideas and you discuss the ideas that are in the texts, but you learn to read the texts. And also there are subjects where you particularly learn philological approach, and you learn about Western people who studied philology, and about the philological approach itself, what philology is, and you learn to make so-called critical edition when you try to find different copies of a text and you compare them, and then you make decisions in terms of mistakes, possible corruptions. So you study manuscripts and you study texts.
Okay, so this subject is actually more into the philosophy area, philosophy field, and so it's about a mixture of language and philosophy, something like that.
Yes, definitely, because your aim is to learn the language well, but most texts that are written in Tibetan language, they are philosophical texts. This is and especially because this is a philology where you learn ancient language. You don't really learn modern Tibetan, even though you can. And there are also additional subjects. If you like, you can study modern Tibetan, which is spoken, colloquial Tibetan.
Mm.
But the emphasis of the studies is the study of classical or ancient Tibetan, and most texts that are written in this classical Tibetan are philosophical texts.
Wow. So in order to learn what the older people think, the ancient people think, you need to learn the classic Tibetan, because the modern Tibetan, the people speak nowadays, for example, for the modern Tibetan speakers, can they also read the classic Tibetan books or texts, or they also have to learn the classic Tibetans in order to understand the books in ancient time? No?
There are many similarities between these two, the colloquial and classical Tibetan, and somebody who speaks colloquial Tibetan, let's say some modern Tibetan people, they actually can try to understand what is written in classical text, but they need to know words also, because words that are used in the sphere of philosophy are rather special. So they need to learn words, and then they probably can read. So there are some similarities, and there are also differences between the two.
Oh, it's very interesting to see. So I have another question as well. So is this study free, or did you have the scholarship in order to study in Germany, in Hamburg?
So fortunately, studies in Germany are free,
Yeah.
even for foreigners who come from other countries. You only have to pay some money for your ticket, that you use to for the public transport, bus, underground, metro, and even some ship that go in the city in Hamburg, as you know.
Yeah.
You can you have to pay for your ticket, but it's very a good deal, because it's much cheaper than if you get the ticket by yourself. So you pay around 300 euros a semester, so
Wow.
which is half a year, and it's quite cheap. Otherwise, you don't really pay for the studies themselves; they are free, which is a big advantage. Of course, you can get a scholarship. You can try to get a scholarship to be able to pay for your life expenses in Germany, but the education itself is free.
So the education in master degree is also free, or only in your subject? Like, because I have learned some other subjects as well, and some of them they may have to pay what is it called, a subscription? Do you have to pay the subscription aside the study?
Not really. I have not heard about it.
Hmm.
I think generally at Hamburg University, the education is free. And unless you go to some sort of private university, I think in Germany, in general, education is free, but I might be mistaken. And Yeah, this fee that you pay at the beginning basically goes for your transport ticket, as far as I know.
Okay. And I'm very curious about this subject as well. Like, is it only Hamburg University gives this subject? Like the Buddhism or Tibetan study? Is it only in Hamburg, or did you also find other cities, other university might have also this subject? Or
There are a few places, not many. Nepal, Kathmandu is one of them.
Mm,
India, Dharamsala is another place. Then in Europe, Leiden University in Netherlands, Vienna University in Austria.
mm,
Maybe something in England, I forgot, I have to say, but I have heard about maybe in Berkeley or somewhere there is a professor in
mm.
Buddhism, and few places in America, but that's far away.
Yeah, that's far away.
So
It's
I have
closer.
chosen Germany.
Yeah, Germany.
Closer to Americans. To Russians, America is far away, a long time to go, and the airplane ticket is rather expensive. So Europe is closer.
And also the living cost is also lower in Germany. And also you can learn German as well.
That's true.
And I have another question. So how many people in this master degree, and yeah, I've already asked you about the modules, but what do the teachers do normally in the class?
So mostly we read. Students try to read themselves, and professor helps them and directs them and explains how to read.
Mm.
How to read properly and correctly, how to understand the author exactly as he wants to be understood, how not to interpolate your own ideas onto what the author says, but actually to try to understand what he tries to say. So how to learn how to read Tibetan and how to read correctly and precisely, and of course the discussion of the content, i.e. philosophical ideas. And in terms of the amount of people, around 10 people goes to classes, and they read one by one.
And also they are all in different ages, like
Yes, definitely. Definitely. Also, the class is open, and sometimes people come who just want to take a look and want to be present at the class, who didn't enroll to the program, but they come here, read, listen, and yeah, it's open.
so it's also open for me. If I go to Hamburg University, I can just open the door and then just sit down, and the teacher doesn't say
Yeah,
anything.
I guess so. I never heard that professor would ask somebody to leave the class, and he is always very welcoming. And I think everyone can try to attend the class.
And the Mensa, remember that time we were having lunch all the time in the Hamburg University. And then the Mensa was also open for me because I was not studying in the university. But the food is quite nice. Like every day has different menu on the wall. And then you can choose either chicken, vegetarian. Like it's very amazing, the campus. I like Hamburg
Yeah, that's true. It's
University.
very open. It's very open.
And the next question is, so you have already studied like most of your life now in this kind in these subjects, for example, because you have studied bachelor in Buddhism and Tibetan studies, and also master in Tibetan studies. So what have you gained or benefit from this study so far? Like, what is the best experience you have so far?
Honestly speaking, I'm doing this just for myself, for my personal curiosity and for my personal development, because I already had my job before I came to do my BA even.
Oh,
And I was a
congratulations.
translator from English into Russian, and I'm still a translator from English into Russian. But I just did it for my information to learn more about Buddhist philosophy and Tibetan philosophy, and to be able to read the original text in Tibetan. So what I gain is knowledge, but not the position, perhaps.
So, so what you want to tell to the students nowadays, like, just don't focus on the jobs in the future, but focus on how to develop yourself on self-development. For example, you said you have already got a job translating the English text into Russian text. And what's the content about? Is it about the Buddhism and the Tibetan culture?
Yes, exactly. I work for a study Buddhism project, and it presents Buddhist material about philosophy, and it is in many languages. I think there are more than 20 languages, so I work for Russian section. And I have few more pieces of advice about education in Germany. First, the semesters are a little bit different. Timing is different, and you don't begin the classes in September. Actually, the first semester, the winter semester, begins in the middle of October, which is a little bit different from all other countries.
Yeah.
And German system is a little bit special, but maybe they will change it. I have heard they're preparing some reforms, but I'm not sure they will happen. So the first semester begins in the middle of October. It ends not at Christmas, but it ends in February, in the middle of February. Then you have a large period of time for basically for your vacation, but it's not called vacation. It's called time free from lectures for Lesung-Freizeit. And it is aimed to your personal self-study. This is just the time when you don't have to come to classes. And it lasts till April. At the beginning of April, you begin your second semester, summer semester, and it lasts till the middle of July.
Wow.
So, and then you have again the free time, which is free from classes time when you have to learn by yourself till the middle of October. It's a little bit different. And as a German student, you won't have that much time for having lunch. So bring your lunch with you. The classes are quite intense, and professors like what they do, and sometimes they might keep you a little bit longer.
Really?
So you have to like what you study, and yeah, take your food with you.
And every student loves their studies. Like that's why they are very devoted their bodies to the study. Like as you said, they have a lot of time to do study themselves, and also when they go to the classes, they don't really have much free time for lunch and also other stuff.
Yeah, hopefully everyone enjoying, but who knows in actuality. And one more piece of advice: if you come to Germany for studies, use your opportunities, because here you can study many things at the same time, and everything is for free. You can study German at the university. There is a free course, free program to learn German, and you can study any other subjects as well. You can just try to attend other classes, whatever you like, and you don't have any limit. You can do master program or bachelor program, and you can extend your studies year after year. Nobody is going to
Really?
push on you, and nobody will tell you, oh, you are doing everything so long, and why are you studying so long? You can study year after year. You can learn many different things. You can learn many languages, many other subjects, and nobody will push. Hopefully nobody will push. And according to the rules of the university itself, you can study as much as you can. You can study your whole life.
That's very good system. Like the German university really push people to learn and then to be more proactive. I really like it, and I like your advices as well.
It depends on you. Nobody will push, but you can. You have the opportunity.
Oh,
You
that's
have a
very
lot of
good.
opportunities. Then you can use them.
And I'm sure that the students or the audience who are hearing who are listening to our speech, they must love your advices, because I think most of the people who want to go to Germany also based on the living costs, because German education is free for also like foreigners, and also some of them, they want to learn a new language, for example German, and also for you want to learn classic Tibetan. So I think German university is quite good choice for people who want to gain more foreign experience.
Yeah, that's true. And of course, there is not only Hamburg, there is also at least Berlin, a very large city with many universities, lots of students, lots of young people. And I mean, Berlin is also good. It's not very expensive. And there are also many opportunities there as well.
Yeah. And also in Hamburg universities, I realized there are a lot of foreigners as well, not only German students. And
Yeah.
I have also met some of your friends, but I think they are local. The Indian girl, do you remember? She
Yeah.
what did she study? But she studied the same subjects with you.
I think she studied Sanskrit or Hindi. I think
Hindi.
so. I
Yeah,
think she
Hindi.
studied Indian languages.
Yeah, Indian languages. It's also a very and also Hamburg University has a faculty called Asian and African Studies.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people who want to learn foreign languages, they go to Hamburg University as well. Because that time I was attending a Japanese exam, and also they hold a Japanese exam in Hamburg University. So I guess for the students, for example, you, the audience, like if you want to study foreign languages, or if you are interested in Asian culture, Western culture, or any other cultures, you can also choose Hamburg University. Maybe it is a good choice, like what Zhenya did. And let me see if I have any other questions. But I think you have already given all the advices and all the very useful information for the students who are also into Tibetan studies or Buddhism, and also philosophy maybe, because your subject is quite related to philosophy. So is there any things that you want to add? For example, because now you have left Germany, and
And
okay, it's fine. So I don't think I have any more questions. I think you have already given the very, very good full pictures how it looks like studying master degree, and also in a very, very special, very very deep subject. So thank you for your time today, Zhenya.
okay, thank you. Thank you. Hope it was nice and helpful.
Yeah, thank you for. I'm sure your information is very helpful and useful for the students. So for audience, if you have any more questions that in this study, or any if you need any advice about Hamburg University, so please write down under in the comment area, and then we can answer your questions. So thank you and see you next time, Zhenya. I close down now. How to say goodbye in Russian?
До свидания.
До свидания.
До свидания.
До свидания.
Пока. Пока.
Пока.
That's easier, yeah. Пока.
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 Пока. Or the До свидания.
До свидания.